Do you ever feel lost in trying to find your art style? You're not alone. Every creator, no matter the medium, obsesses over this. Whether it's photography, drawing, or design, we all want something that feels uniquely ours. For me, finding my style is still a work in progress. My creative journey started with photography, my first love. I've always been drawn to vintage-inspired Polaroid photography and the magic of capturing a fleeting moment. Over time, I've experimented with collage, weaving textures and layers into visual stories, and as a designer, I've developed my deep love for lettering, where art and words come together to create something meaningful and expressive. But I'll admit, I've often wondered if enjoying too many things is a problem. Should I just choose one to excel at and pour all of my energy into? I've tried that before, but I always end up disappointed. I've realized that I don't want to be confined to just one thing. I want to keep creating and reinventing myself. Now, I embrace the fact that all of my influences, photography, design, lettering, collage, and more recently comics, are all part of my art journey. My goal is to let them evolve into something uniquely mine. But let's be honest, do you ever feel a little intimidated watching sketchbook flip-throughs full of perfect finished pieces? I know I do, but this isn't one of those videos. Over the past year, I've embraced the concept of an ugly sketchbook, one where perfection doesn't matter and experimentation takes center stage. I've been using a cheap, low-pressure sketchbook, this Midori MD Notebook, to let go of perfectionism and just create. In this video, I'll take you through a flip-through of my experiments. You'll see different subjects, tools, and styles, and at the end, I'll share my thoughts if this notebook is worth using as a sketchbook. So if you're ready to explore the messier side of creativity and embrace imperfection, then let's check out the inside of this sketchbook. This is a sketchbook flip-through of the Midori MD paper notebook. This is an A5 size, 8 inches tall, almost 6 inches wide. It has 88 sheets or 176 pages, and it has an ivory color, so this is not a stark white paper. It also comes with this tissue paper-like protector cover that you can keep on or off. So this is what it looks like without it. You can see the logo, MD paper, made in Japan. It has this exposed binding and a ribbon bookmark. This is what a brand new one looks like. This is an A6 size. It says that it's cream colored pages and it's a lay flat binding. So you can see when you buy a new one, they all come with this tissue paper cover. I usually like to decorate the front of my sketchbooks, whether I'm drawing on top of them like this one, or just with stickers only. And these are stickers from various artists that I've collected over the years. And I like to add stickers both to the front and back, just like I've done on this one too. Let's get started. I continue to decorate the interior with some stickers. I have hundreds of stickers and I just wanted to start using them more often, so I thought I would add some to the cover. This sketchbook I started on May 25th, 2024, and I finished it on November 20th, 24. So about 6 months. So this is a pencil sketch. I wrote here that it took me 13 minutes. This was from a 7-day art challenge by Kesh Art. So day 1 was meant to be a before drawing, and then you could see how things evolve over the week. So this was off of a reference photo provided in that challenge of an iguana. I think I sprayed fixative on top of this just so that the pencil wouldn't smear. You can see it's not rubbing off on my finger. So you can use fixative on this notebook, but it does change the texture of the paper a little bit. You can see how it's a little bit warped here, but really not that bad. So I would say the one con about using this notebook as a sketchbook is you are definitely going to see whatever is on the front of the page through the back, pretty much no matter what kind of medium you're using. This was part of that 7-day drawing challenge, some dynamic line exercises using blue and red color pencil. Because these were just exercises, I didn't care about it bleeding over onto the other pages, but started with straight lines, curves, circles. Day 1 bonus drawings. Based off some reference photos, I drew these. I actually don't mind how the colored pencil bleeds over. Day 2 is continuing with some controlled line exercises, and then doing the same for some curves. And then for the drawing section, these were also off of reference images, but trying a different art supply. So this was done with a brush pen. I love the textured feel that they give to your drawings. Day 3, some more drawing exercises. This is where we're getting into shapes based off of reference images, a bird, teapot, pencil. Day 4, straight lined shape exercises, squares and rectangles. And then this was meant to be not a complete drawing, but you're breaking things down into simple shapes, circles, things like that for the head. Day 5 was about shape combos, using leading lines and following the curves. These are all done in colored pencil. Drawing of a rabbit. Day 6, organic forms, kind of similar. This was also starting to play around with value, using force on your pencil for creating darker to medium to light shades. So this was meant to be a comparison to your day 1 drawing. So if you look back here, this was day 1. Then after a few more days, kind of taking into account the things that you practiced and learned. I think it looks better. It looks a little bit more, some of the lines look a little bit more confident. I also just like that this is in colored pencil. These are some basic line drawings with, I think, some sort of gel pen. This is a mix between brush pen and a metallic Sharpie pen. I tried to use a white Posca pen on top, but it wasn't mixing well with the brush pen. Playing around with line and shape. So this is a gray technical pen mixed with a little bit of colored pencil. Just some abstract architectural drawings, mostly with colored pencil, a little bit of brush pen here. I like how these look together on a spread and how the arrows continue from one page to the other. So this is a mix between colored pencil and a little bit of Posca marker on the yellow and green. So again, you can see how the Posca markers, colored pencil, and gel pen show through. This one I really like how it turned out. This is brush pen for the line work and Posca pens for the lips. I just like the vibrancy of how this stands out and this psychedelic optical illusion to it. I think these were some exercises from another online art class I was taking on portrait drawing. This is mostly about shading, value, getting the proportions on portraits correct. A little bit of practice, again, the proportion of the head, and then drawing the eye from a few different angles, straight on, at a corner, looking above. Then some practice on drawing noses. These were all done with mechanical pencil. Same with the drawings of lips. These are all based off of reference photos. And then putting that into practice into portraits, I used one of those white stumps to try out shading to see if I would like that. I've seen a lot of other artists do it. I wanted to try it, but I don't really like the look of it, or maybe I just need to practice it more. Another portrait based off of reference image. And the intention is that it has this unfinished look to it. Another portrait. So these are all from different angles. So this was a straight on portrait, a 3/4, and then a side profile view. This is done with, I think, Tombow marker. I have some flowers, technical pen using a little bit of stippling for a drawing of a ghost, a little bit of mixed media clippings from a catalog, and then combining that with Posca markers and brush pen and some washi tape here. Butterflies, moths, mostly done with micron, fine liners, and brush pens. I really like combining the two so you can get a lot of variety in line and texture. This was just me testing out some of my pens. I wanted to see which ones were running out of ink. And then also layering on top to see what it would look like with the black on top of the color. This is pen and some Tombow brush markers. This is done with pencil and trying to use that stump again to shade the background of the tree and then layer and add more details on top. Continuing on with that portrait drawing class, so these are just meant to be practicing the overall shape and form of a head and getting that nailed down first. More practice, same idea. And more, and even more. Another practice of a stylized portrait. So these aren't meant to be super realistic. They're stylized kind of characters of the people. Again, here's a straight on view, profile, portrait, and a 3/4 portrait practice. And you can see how I'm experimenting with different types of shading. So using shapes or hatching, and then one of those blending stumps. This is just playing around with shape and color. I think this is just a black marker, and the red is a Posca pen. I think these are an Archer and Olive acrylic pens or markers combined with pen, and this is meant to be the packaging for an old VHS, but using Polaroid. Floral drawings with Tombow markers. A mix of technical micron fine liner pens with stippling and Tombow brush pens. I just wanted to use up some of my coffee related stickers and then combining that with some Tombow brush markers. This is a blue gel pen, Tombow brush marker, and a metallic marker. Wanted to use a monochromatic color palette here with blues. And some of these drawings were inspired by a graphic novel I read that's called The Art of Crying, which a lot of fun and colorful drawings. These are done with gel pen, Tombow brush markers, same here, just practicing different eyes and really making a graphic representation of it, not at all realistic, but really abstracting it. Pen and Tombow brush markers. Same here. This is what the ribbon bookmark looks like. This was also inspired by that graphic novel, the same kind of color palette. Drawing of an old mixed tape. More practice from a portrait drawing class. This is graphite practice for eyes. Same for noses and lips. And then more portrait practice. And this one I also tried giving it a colored background and adding brush just to add more texture and graphic elements to the portrait. Some rough cat sketches in mechanical pencil. I wanted it to look like panels in a graphic novel, so showing the emotion through a close-up of an eye. This is based off of a reference image that I really liked. Also mechanical pencil. A quick stylized portrait done in mechanical pencil. Another unfinished portrait in mechanical pencil. Here I was just testing out various pens and markers. This is testing a bunch of the colors of the Tombow brush markers I have. Little drawings in blue and red gel pen. More drawings in red gel pen. More cartoony drawings with a brush pen. This is done with a thicker brush pen and some pen to add a little bit of shading here. Also playing around with graphic novel comic panels here. Just some random drawings, but just seeing how things look like in composition when you divide them up. With a panoramic horizontal panel on top of a larger one. This is pen and Tombow brush marker. Some abstract graphic sketches of a black cat with brush pen and Tombow brush markers. Gel pen and marker, practicing different angles of a character, front, side, and 3/4 from behind. More comic panel practice, so I was taking some of these ideas from certain graphic novels that I was reading at the time, and I really like to use monochromatic color palettes, so I was playing around with blue and then pinks here, same color palette here, and playing around with adding more color into the background. I don't think these colors work together just because there's not enough contrast, but it's meant to be nighttime in these images. You know, it's of a girl sleeping at night with her cat, but you can't really, but the contrast is starting to fade. I think for the next couple of pages, I joined an online comic workshop over Zoom, and so these were some of the practices. It was specifically on lettering. So here it was taking one letter and creating different styles, and then selecting a few that you really liked, then choosing other letters and doing the same, trying different art supplies, creating different styles, more practice, and again eventually selecting ones that I really liked, and then trying to turn those into a complete sentence. So these are, I forget what the name is, but the type of sentence where it has every single letter of the alphabet, so you can see what it looks like for all of the letters. And more practice. I really like all of the ones with the brush pen. Some practice on drawing eyes with various brush and technical pens. Well, this was quite a day. So election day, just some election themed drawings and lettering in blue and red, and the I voted sticker. This was from another online comic workshop. This was part of the warm-up. I don't remember what the prompt was, but I ended up drawing a ghost cat. I think it had to involve a UFO in some way. And here's another warm-up exercise. So this was drawing with your non-dominant hand, copying a reference image. So that is why the lines are shaky and it looks like a child drew it. And then the actual comic prompt was meant to be your week in a nutshell. So writing down a few highlights or lowlights, feelings, things, just something that you would want to depict in each panel. The ones that I wrote down were adjusting to the time change. I think daylight savings had just occurred the weekend before. I saw my godmother get married at the courthouse. I had some blood work done, and then election anxiety. So putting that into 4 different panels. Practicing some characterized portrait drawings using brush pen markers. Some quick portraits in pen. I wanted to practice using the same character but trying to depict different emotions. Practice drawing eyes with pen, trying to get different emotions down, anger, sadness. Some cat drawings in pen. I think most of these were off of some reference images of my own cat. Yeah. More pen drawings. These were based off some reference photos, trying to just practice people in different positions, like, you know, sitting on a chair, leaning down, looking through a magazine. Practicing eyes in pen. Also just trying to do subtle changes to show emotion. This is in a gray pen. Some sketches of lips and hand gestures. This is done in red gel pen, using the same graphic novel comic panel layout ideas. This is done in pen and brush marker for the dark areas. I think this was based off some kind of reference photo, but I just loved it. This cartoony cat and the shocked expression, it makes me smile when I look at it. And that's the last page. So yeah, I finished it on November 20th, and more stickers on the back, a couple of cat animal stickers. Pros and cons of using the Midori MD paper notebook as a sketchbook. What I love about it is how it lays flat. So that is a big pro of using this. It's relatively inexpensive. I don't remember what I paid for it, but these you can find in a lot of art stores. They're pretty affordable. I appreciate that it comes with this tissue paper cover, especially when you're storing it. And the exposed binding and the basic cover, you may hate or love that, but if you're going to decorate your sketchbook, then I don't mind it. But just something to keep in mind. It also has a lot of pages, so if you're looking for something to last you for a while, this is good for that. I happen to like the ivory color. I don't really like stark white pages, so if you like ivory off-white paper, then you will like this series. I would say the major con is that pretty much any type of art supply is going to bleed over onto the other side. So most of the time I only drew on one side of the paper just because I didn't want to have that ruin the drawing by drawing on the other side, which you could do that if you don't mind it. So I guess you could say, even though there are a lot of pages, 176, technically you're only drawing on 88 of them. So if you like really thick drawing paper that has absolutely no ghosting for different types of art supplies, then this isn't going to be a good option for you. But if you just want something that is for quick warm-up sketches, getting started, which was the intention of me using this as a sketchbook, then it's a great option for that. I wanted to give you a quick glimpse into another sketchbook that I'm almost finished with and will be sharing a flip through of soon. This is the first time I've used a sketchbook for one single subject, and that is lettering, which is why I called this one Words. I'm really proud of how this one has evolved, and I can't wait to share it with you. So be sure to subscribe and you'll get to see this one soon.